you've got some interesting ways that you've approached e-commerce, and I'm kind of curious if you were to go back and look at your track record. You've talked a little bit about the standard operating procedures and some of the different methods that you put into businesses. If you could put your finger on a couple that you think were instrumental in your success. And you're either, now let's just think for a second who's watching this. It's either a buyer or a seller of a business. I'm not seeing a whole lot of standard operating procedures in these businesses that are being sold. So that's another, I think, level up that you've got. So let's talk about that, because that part's important from a transition perspective, because the seller can make, they can make the transition much easier if there are standard operating procedures. But besides that, Steve, what else has been kind of like your kind of your secret sauce or your magic to scaling these businesses, these e-commerce businesses?
Yeah, for sure. So I think my success, I would say, definitely comes from having a really good team, right? So I give a lot of credit to my team, like, my team players, like my project managers, my media buyers and all that, because we need to treat like even a dropshipping business like a real business, right? You need to invest the right resources. You need to have the right people in place. But I've seen a lot of problems is like a lot of drop shippers are more like one-man show, two-man show. They do all the customer service themselves. They do all the product research. They do the media buying themselves. I respect that. I respect the hustle, but you have to treat the business like a real business. I've known students that does like $1 million a month, and they're like four-man team, right? I was like, dude, guys, you guys could easily 3x your business if you invest like a little bit of the profits into structuring and recording like what you guys are doing every single day, right? I don't want them to be doing the exact same thing over and over again. For example, product research, record it, document it like into like, to-do list or checklist, and have someone do it for you. And you will be the one to like kind of like double check the work, and eventually you should hire someone like a manager or a project manager to go through all this for you, so that the entrepreneurs themselves, they could focus putting all the time and money into like the most into things that gets them the highest ROI. I think a lot of people don't see things like this, but I think if they're willing to delegate, or they're willing to invest a bit of their profits into like the systems, I'd say a lot of people don't think the processes, the systems are important. They think, oh, I should be putting all my time here. But like, listing everything down, document them, even though if you're not a good process guy, just writing everything down, documenting everything will make your future training so much easier. You don't have to go through the same thing again and again.
Yeah, that's a really good example. The product research. So for me, when I was selling all those vitamins and supplements and hair oils and stuff, we outsourced our customer service. So we didn't have anybody internally doing that. We would monitor and listen to calls and do spot checks and look through stuff. And then we also outsourced our fulfillment. So all the 3PL activity. I didn't want a warehouse. I didn't want to have any employees, that I had to watch to see, geez, did that guy's, I've had enough issues with people magically always sick on Monday. Like, you think you've got a drinking problem? If you're sick every Monday and you're late every Monday, then there might be alcohol is a bit of an issue there. I didn't want to deal with any of that. So we outsourced that component. And, once you're getting into that, 300 to 3,000 sales, units being shipped a day. Life is so much better when you've got, a vetted, vendor, a third-party vendor that's handling that, because they're making 20%, 30% margin as well. But geez, they can spread the scale out amongst all their clients, and nothing's worse than having like these like real spiky sales and then like a low sales month, and you have to like hire quickly and then fire quickly. It's a nightmare. So I'm not a fan of doing that stuff in-house. And we've actually had listings where businesses have fulfillment on hand. They have their own warehouse, And it's actually so much been a challenge to get them sold, because at their size, at their scale, someone that was looking to buy the business didn't want to do that. So we had to like help coach them to get a 3PL company, outsource that, because it wasn't until the business got bigger that fulfillment division had other clients, so it became a revenue source, that it would actually be a benefit to a new buyer. It's kind of an interesting scenario that went on there. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications about new videos and interviews. And introduce yourself in the comments. Are you a buyer or a seller?